Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Game Time Chris, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we have the Stanley Cup 2025 Playoff Bracket Challenge here for you guys. So basically, as you guys know, the playoffs start tomorrow. We have some fun, exciting series to come underway, especially in the first round. I feel like this is one of those years where there's going to be like, I wouldn't want to say so many surprises, but I would just say mostly a lot of really good teams and a lot of great first round matchups. It's always great when your team isn't in the playoffs also, because you could be more realistic and, just give more further insights and just be more real with everything like that and no biases. So yeah, so let's get started, guys. So with our first series here, we have Winnipeg and St. Louis Blues. Now, Winnipeg won the series 3-1, the season series. Obviously, Winnipeg is the first seed. They won the President's Trophy. I know a lot of people are like, President's Trophy curse, this and that, whatever. I think this is still going to be a pretty good matchup. I feel like St. Louis, let's start talking about St. Louis first. Obviously, Winnipeg are first. There's nothing really to talk about. St. Louis Blues, though, with the second wild card coming in, this team has some experience. As you guys know, St. Louis Blues in the past with the playoffs, they do pretty good in the playoffs. They still have some experience there. Binnington has been exceptional, especially in the Four Nations face-off. You're gonna have that goalie matchup again, USA versus Canada. So it's gonna be a great one to watch. Obviously, with the strong goaltending, that obviously helps, especially playing the best team in the league right now. So I think you have Buchnevich. I think that Winnipeg in this series, though, I think it's going to be a little too much for St. Louis. This could definitely be a series where I think the series is going to go 6. I think Winnipeg are going to beat them in 6 games. I know some people say, like, St. Louis could upset Winnipeg. I'm going to go with the safer choice just because, they're the best team right now. I think Connor Hellebuck being the best goalie, he didn't have too good of a series last time. I'm pretty sure he might have been injured last time. So I feel like this is like their actual run this year. Because last time it was way harder for them. So I'm gonna choose Winnipeg here. It's gonna make us do the games after once we pick our entire one. But yeah, that's what we're gonna pick here right now. So that's that. And again, I just feel like Winnipeg's depth, their goaltending, they have the edge there. But yeah, like, the St. Louis's pedigree could definitely make this a competitive series. So it's not going to just be like a breeze. I don't think they're going to just win in 4 games. I think it's definitely going to be a little more competitive. It could be 5, it could be 6. I'm going to go 6 to make it safer. I think St. Louis is going to give it all they got. But again, they're going to come up short just because of the depth that Winnipeg have. So yeah, let's move on. So the next series is Dallas and Colorado. This is going to be probably the best, if not one of the best series in the first round. As you guys know, the big trade, Rantanen went to Dallas. He's going to want revenge. It's going to be a fun series to watch. It's going to be really hard. I think with Dallas, I think Robertson just recently, they said that he got an injury in the last game of the season. He's probably going to play. I don't know if he's going to play the first game. I think he's going to come back. I don't know if he's going to be 100%. There's a lot of question marks there. I think Dallas have more question marks than Colorado right now. So I do think I have this series, Colorado taking it in 6 games. At first I said 7 and possibly Dallas. Like, I went back and forth literally so many times. I think that's a lot of the series this year. Like, you're just not sure too much. But I went with Colorado because it's the safer pick. I feel like, they've won the championship before. I just feel like they have way more experience. The only thing is, right, Dallas, I think with Ottinger, like with the goalies they have, I don't want to say they have the full edge on that, but I'm just saying, like, they have a good goalie. They have pretty much, both of these teams have a lot of offensive power, star power. Like, they're great teams on offense. I just think with Avalanche's defense, I don't know. I think this series is going to go 6, possibly 7, but I have Colorado taking it. I just think Colorado, with their new additions, might look a little rough just because, they're like, they just got their new players in. but I still think that they're gonna edge Dallas. And it's just hard because Dallas haven't won in a long time. So and they just made it really far last year. So you kind of want to like say Dallas is gonna win, especially adding in Rantanen because Rantanen's a big thing. I'm pretty sure he's their leading points. He has the most points for them this season. But I don't know. It's just gonna be a heavyweight battle. Both teams have the talent. Both teams can score. I just think health would be the main factor here. Like if Dallas is fully healthy, I'm not surprised if Dallas take this series. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those 50-50 picks where you're going to go with who you think. And like I said, I want to go with the safer choice. So I'm going to go with them. And yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So moving on to Vegas and Minnesota. Now, Vegas in the season series won all their games. They won a comfortable 3-0. I think with their balanced scoring, and then they have Jack Eichel, who's very good both on both sides. He's a very good two-way player. They have a strong power play, a great defensive structure. I just feel like they have kind of like everything in a way. I mean, obviously they're not one of the best teams currently in the league for nothing. But like I said, starting with the wild card teams, I feel like Minnesota when they were healthy, they were one of the best teams in the league. They were actually, I think, first or top three for a good while before Kaprizov and multiple of their defenders got injured. So I think Minnesota's like a sleeper in a way. I don't think this is going to be a breeze. I don't think Vegas is going to 4-0 them. I want to give Wild, let's say probably 2 games, maybe 1. So we'll figure out how we're going to do the series on that. But I do want to pick, obviously, Vegas. But like I said, it's not going to... I don't think any of these series this year are going to be just a breeze. I don't. I think everybody's going to give it all they got. So that's what makes it tougher more this year. But yeah, so now the next series is the Los Angeles Kings and the Oilers. Now, I think, right, from this series that this series is going to be interesting because, you guys know Oilers take the series pretty much mostly every year. Well, pretty much every year they've been taking it for the past couple of years. However, I do think this year... something's telling me, I don't know what, but I feel like the Kings are going to take it this year. I think the Kings have had really good goaltending this year. I also think that Oilers haven't found their groove. Like their goalies have been pretty stable, but I don't think they found their groove yet. Obviously you have Connor McDavid, like Bouchard, like you have those, like you have star tandem that can like carry you through and easily like that one player can win you the series for sure. But I just think the Kings is like defense and like with them having so much depth, I just feel like they're gonna find a way to win in 7. I think finally they're gonna end up winning. So I'm gonna go Kings there. And let's just start off. I'm gonna say Kings in 7. I think if they're gonna win, I think this series is definitely gonna go 6. But I'm gonna say Kings in 7. Like if they're gonna win, they're gonna have to win in 7. I think that McDavid and them, they're gonna make it close. They're always gonna fight. I mean, it's never easy playing the best player in the world, so it's gonna be really hard. Let's go over here. This series, I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go 6 for this one. Again, like I don't think it's gonna be a breeze. It's definitely not gonna be that easy. I'm gonna go 6 for that one, and then. I just want to check my picks real quick to make sure. I want to give my original picks that I made. I don't want to change anything up too much. So let me see. And then let's see. Yeah, 6. And then Dallas and Colorado. So like I said, I'm going to say 6 just because of the injuries and the question marks that Dallas have right now. If Dallas are fully healthy, they might even take this in 7 games. But I'm going to say Avalanche in 6 because of it. But like I said, I won't be surprised if this series specifically goes either way. Vegas and Minnesota, I'm going to go 6. Again, it won't be a walk in the park with Minnesota. They were one of the best teams at first, like when the season opened up. I don't know if a lot of people remember, so they're probably just sleeping on them. But it's not going to be a walk in the park. And again, if there's an upset to happen, this could be potential as well. I don't really see this too much as an upset just because of the fact that, like, obviously Kings are the higher seed. Like, even though they've lost the past couple of years to the Oilers, I still don't see this as an upset. But I think these two here specifically are, upset potential. All right, so let's just stay on this side because that's how this bracket works. So let's do, I guess, this side first. So, oh, no, we can go here. Sorry, never mind. So starting off with this side, Toronto and and Ottawa. Now this series is a little interesting. Toronto have obviously lost in the first round like every time. Like they just cannot seem to just get over that hump. It's obviously really weird. I know Ottawa swept Toronto 3-0 and they outscored them 9-3. So they definitely went crazy in the series for sure in the season. I know I know in the season like nothing matters. Obviously, like this is the playoffs right now. But again, it's just some simple backstory. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner's had a fantastic year. He's actually excelled to that next level. They have their new coach. I think he's put in more discipline to this team. It's definitely kind of like a newer, like Toronto. They have more of a defensive responsibility. So like I feel like personally, I haven't watched so many of these teams a lot, but I've seen them enough to know that I don't think this is the same Toronto team that it has been. I know obviously they've struggled in the playoffs and they've had bad criticism over the years, but again, new coach, new system, more defensively, more responsibility. So I'm gonna give it to Toronto here. And then, yeah, so again, we're going to do the series at the end. So we're just going to say who we're going to win. But again, this series, I feel like is going to be a battle of Toronto. Ottawa, dude, like hats off to them. They're incredible. Like they've had an insane run this year. Again, Allmark was an amazing addition. I feel like getting Allmark saved them so much because having a goaltender like that is everything for you. Like he can legit win this series by himself. Obviously you have Brady Tkachuk who lives for these moments. He's been waiting for this moment his whole life. I know Stützle is a really like exceptional player. So I think this series is going to be really good. Like this is going to be some top hockey. Again, at first I wanted to choose Ottawa in 7 games. I really wanted to, but I just think Toronto's going to win. I think they have too much star power. I am scared a little bit for their goalie. Like I said, I think Ottawa have the goalie edge here. That's why I was scared to pick Toronto. But I think with their star power, I think they should be able to get through. They should be able to get through Allmark. It's going to be hard, though. Again, it's not going to be easy. Next series is Tampa Bay and Florida. Woo, this is another good one. Now we have here the Battle of Florida. I mean, like, these are just all great matchups. This one, again, was super hard. This is probably like the same thing as Dallas and like Avalanche. I didn't know who to pick. At first, again, I chose Florida at first. I was like, I don't know. Stanley Cup champions, yeah. But again, Matthew Tkachuk being a little bit injured, Ekblad. I was like, we don't know. They obviously added Seth Jones, Brad Marchand. Like this team is definitely gotten deeper. But again, can those new players really help, or is it going to make them a little worse? Because, not having the chemistry too much could affect them a little bit. We don't know. Again, if Florida show up the way they've been showing up the last year, nobody's going to stop Florida. But we don't know if that team's going to come. So I want to make this interesting again. I don't want to pick obviously I want to give my initial thoughts on it. I personally said Tampa Bay at first, so I'm going to stick with my word. Again, I won't be surprised whatever team wins, but I'm going to go with the Lightning. I think the Lightning this year, dude, their offense has been the best in the league. I think they've always been good in the playoffs. Like Tampa Bay has always been to at least like near the conference finals every time. They've always been good. The thing is, Florida's forecheck though, they have a very suffocating forecheck, and that's going to be the key to this game is if Tampa Bay can kind of like work their forecheck, because it's not going to be easy. I mean, like watching the series last year against anytime somebody played the Panthers, they would always have that fast suffocating forecheck, and it's super hard to get through that. So if they can do that, and again, they could be healthy, Florida Panthers will be really hard to stop. But again, I could see whichever team wins here go straight to the finals. So I mean, this is going to be a tough series, but it's going to be good to watch. Next is the Capitals and the Canadiens. Now again, this is more of like I think the Canadiens are like happy, they haven't been to the playoffs in so long. I mean, hats off to them. They're happy to finally get in. Obviously it came down to game 82, so they're going to be hungry. They're in playoff mode. They've been in playoff mode. So I feel like they're going to do everything they can to take this series. They're going to make it so competitive. They're going to fight so hard. But I have the Capitals winning this one. I think Ovechkin's like record-breaking year. I think he's pushed this team, this group, to just another level. And I think they pretty much have everything. I mean, like they literally have everything. Like when it comes to star power, goals, they have so many players that could score on this team, and their goaltending has been really good. I mean, getting a former Stanley Cup champion, they're going to be really hard to stop. But I definitely see Montreal giving them a run for their money. Maybe out of all these series, I would say, depending on how these two teams play, I think either the Wild series or this series is going to be the shortest series. But I still think they're going to give them a good run for their money. But I'm going to go Washington here. It's just hard not to pick Washington. I mean, come on. They were literally almost the best team in the league. So next here is going to be the Hurricanes and the Devils. Now, this is another fun series to watch again because this series is tied 2-2, right? The Hurricanes lost one of their best players. Obviously, Nietzsche's going to the Avalanche. Again, that's another great piece that, the Avalanche got that we didn't speak about. And then Devils losing Jack Hughes, obviously, which is unfortunate news for them. And Jack Hughes is a really, really, really big piece to this Devils team. I don't think that this Devils team is done just because Jack Hughes isn't there. I still think that they're competitive enough. The only thing is, though, Carolina has a very big depth team. Carolina has a really good defensive system. They've always had a great defensive system with Brendan Amore. So it's going to be super hard for the Devils to get past it. I think if the Devils win this series, they're going to have to do it in 7. I don't see the Devils beating these guys in 5. Maybe 6, but I think 7 would be their best spot. But I'm going to go Carolina for this one. Just because, I mean, I think Carolina in the last year or two, they always get like that one step closer and they're just almost there, but they just can't get over that last hump to get to the finals. I think this year, again, I think they're going to make it past the first round. But again, it's not just going to be a walk in the park. The Devils, their goaltending has been strong. Again, they added Markstrom. I thought that's what they literally were missing. But obviously now you lose Hughes. I know Dougie's coming back. You have, Luke Hughes. You have Jesper Bratt. Nico, he should like these guys can definitely play. So I'm going to go Carolina in 6. Again, this series, it's really hard to predict it. It just really, really depends. But it can go 5, it can go 6, 7. It just depends. But I think this is going to be a good series. I mean, anytime Carolina play the Devils, the Rangers, whoever it is, it's a great series. So, yeah. For Capitals in Montreal, I said 6 at first, I think. I think I said 6 at first. I'm going to put 5. I'm sorry. I'm going to put 5. If this goes 6, I won't be surprised, but I'm just going to go 5. I think I don't want to have every series with 6 to 7 games. I think it's going to be close games, but it will be 5. But Montreal is going to give it everything they absolutely have. For sure, no doubt in my mind. I just think that this is one of those situations where Montreal just got in and they're just so happy to be in the playoffs. And it's I don't want to say they don't care to lose, but it's more so whatever happens, they kind of their ceiling is now here. So it's that's kind of how I think about them. For Tampa Bay and Florida, I think it's 7. I mean, I mean, if there's a series that's gonna go 7, it's this one. 6 is probably the better choice, but I want to go 7. I think this series is going to come down to the wire. These two teams have a great forecheck besides Carolina, exceptional forecheck. It's going to be a fun series to watch. And Vasilevsky versus Bobrovsky, 2, Russian goalies, some of the best goalies in the league. It's going to be really good. And then Toronto and Ottawa, I think I had 7, so I'm not going to change it. I won't be surprised if this is 6. I know a lot of people are saying I mean, it's true. I think if it goes 7, Ottawa could probably win, but I'm still gonna go Toronto in 7. I think this is gonna be hard fought. And if it's 6, it's fine. I mean, I mainly just care to predict who wins. I don't really mind too much the series, but it's always good to try to get everything right. But yeah, there we go. So now moving on to the second round. This is where it gets more interesting because the first round series were already good, and it's it's only gonna get better. But yeah, so Winnipeg and Colorado. This is another one. Well, it's so many question marks because Winnipeg, they're such a great hockey team right now. But I mean, even last year, they were so good, but I don't know. It's just always are they gonna do good? And then you're okay, they're the best team in the game. So it's if they do good, it's not surprising, or are they just gonna let you down? And for this specific reason, I mean, I love Connor Hellebuck. Like I said, I think that Connor Hellebuck's going to be the biggest MVP for them. If he can be really solid in the playoffs, which he hasn't really been, if he can be that guy for them, this team can make it very deep. I'm going to pick Colorado again. I know people are going to be like, come on, why are you picking Colorado? Like, they've been good all the time. Yeah, I get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's the safer choice. Colorado they have the star power. They added Nietzsche's. And again, I'm a huge Nietzsche's fan. I think he's really good. I just think they're going to get over that hump and they're going to beat him just because, like, I think the experience comes into play when you play series like this. I think the experience is very big. I won't be surprised though if Dallas beat Avalanche and then Dallas play Winnipeg and Dallas beat Winnipeg and then Dallas are up there. But again, it's a lot of what ifs. But I kind of just pinned it down where I think I'm gonna stick with the Avalanche wave. And again, you get key pieces like VZ, Lindgren. You only get a little deeper. You also got Brock Nelson now. The Avalanche and the Florida Panthers for me are going to be two teams where I tell myself that if those new guys can gel right away, those two teams can make it very far. It's a lot of like, will they be able to fit in? You know what I mean? Because you don't really have a lot of time to like play with those players. So it's a lot of like, will they fit in? That's mainly what it comes down to. But again, I'm still going to go Avalanche because they're way deeper. I think I think Mackenzie Blackwood has been really good. Like, come on, let's be honest. So, it just all depends. But I think they have the star power to get through Hellebuck. So I think that's where I have them. We're not really doing series here, but most of these series here should go six games. I mean, come on, like 6 games at least. And then here we have the Vegas Golden Knights and the Kings. Now, this is where I think the Kings' run unfortunately comes to an end. You play the Oilers. You have a tough series against the Oilers. It's not going to be easy. Then that's if you even win. And then you got to go play Vegas. And I mean, Vegas, they've been really good so far. I mean, ever since Vegas has been a team, they haven't really been bad. I mean, like they've, the only thing about Vegas a little bit, and I'm not saying their goalie is horrible, but like I think it's just a little bit of their goaltending. I think that's their weakest spot, maybe. If you get what I'm saying, I think that's their weakest spot. And again, it's not that weak. But I think the Kings, though, that's why I had them over the Oilers, because I think they got the goaltending they needed so far. Like Darcy Kemper has been strong, solid. And I think now when you play Vegas, I just think Vegas are just too deep. They're just too deep. They're going to overwhelm the Kings. I think this series is more easier to predict Vegas is going to win than this series. Like, I think this series, the Oilers have a better chance. But in this series, I think in this series, the Kings have an easier chance to beat the Oilers than they have an easier chance to beat Vegas, is what I'm trying to say. So I think their run here comes to an end. Coming on this side, we have the Maple Leafs versus the Lightning. Now, this series, I think out of all of these series here in the second round, maybe besides the Kings, it just depends. I think this is going to be the easiest series. Again, no disrespect to Toronto. I just think that the Tampa Bay Lightning, or whichever team, even if it's the Panthers, I think either team will beat the Maple Leafs. Again, because of goalies. I think these two teams are obviously very deep. They're deep enough for another high Stanley Cup playoff run. So that's why I just kind of have the Lightning through. Again, forecheck, how deep they are. They're the best offensive team. They have an exceptional goalie. It's really hard. They don't have too many flaws in their game. Whereas Toronto Maple Leafs are more of like a question mark. I mean, they've never really been this far in a long time. So it's like, are you really going to gamble on them or not? And again, if they were playing an easier opponent, like on this side, I would probably be a little more lenient towards them. But, you kind of got the big dogs here. So it's going to be definitely tough. And then Capitals and Carolina. This series was a little hard to predict. It was actually pretty hard. I'm not going to lie to you. This was probably the series where, besides this one, I was like, let me stop and think here. And again, I think with the season Ovechkin's having, the boost, the momentum he's given them, at first I had myself picking Carolina. Like at first when I was thinking about it, I was like, this is Carolina's year. I think they make it to the finals. They win. Then I thought to myself, you lost one of your best players in Nietzsche's. Obviously, like you still, like your team is still really good. Like you're still the Carolina Hurricanes that you've been. But it's like you always make it kind of here in a way, and then you kind of like don't get here. You always make it to the conference finals, but you don't make it to the Stanley Cup finals. And I think Capitals have been so strong this year. And like I said, like it's tough for the Hurricanes because the Rangers aren't here this year. The Devils aren't at their strongest. But then you get the Capitals that come in and they're just like, all right, this is my house. And I think the forecheck that the Hurricanes have will definitely make every series competitive. Like, you're never gonna play the Hurricanes and think like you're gonna just easily get by them. They're gonna make you work so hard. But I think the Capitals, they have what it takes. I mean, I think they have the goal scoring. They're deep enough. I feel like they get through this series. Again, it was super hard to predict who wins this. It was just so hard for me. But I think because of the first round and how like there's because the Capitals have so much more like they don't have as overwhelming series as the Hurricanes did in the first round. I think it's going to make it easier for them to beat the Carolina Hurricanes. Whereas before, when the Rangers played the first round or like another team like the Devils or something, by the time they get to the Hurricanes, they're already like winded out in a way. So I think that's going to help them get over the hump. So now we're down to our final four conference final teams now with the West. So again, I like this. I don't hate what I have here. Like I said, it could be the Panthers, Capitals, Lightning. I think any of those three teams, or even maybe Carolina. Like, it just depends. But I think any of those teams can make it this far. But these are my four that I want to pick. So for this series here, I'm gonna ride with the wave of Avalanche. Like I said, they've been here before. They have the team. The thing is that with the Avalanche, like they haven't got weaker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though they're third in their division, and they're right behind Dallas and Winnipeg, I think them getting a little lucky with Dallas right now not being at their full strength. Like I said, depending on if they are not, because if Dallas are at their full strength, I think I would probably have Dallas here instead. But I think with that being said, I think it's a safer choice to pick the Avalanche. It's going to be a hard fought series against the Golden Knights, but I think the Golden Knights I think their goaltending is going to probably be what's going to sell them in this series. I think that the Avalanche have the star power and especially the experience. That's very important for playoffs. I think that's going to get them over what they need to win this series. So that is why I have the Colorado Avalanche in the finals. I think that they definitely have a very good chance to make it. And again, if it's not them, like I said, if it's not them, I probably would have. It would probably be between the Avalanche, Dallas, and I don't know why. Like, I love the Winnipeg team. Like, I love them as a team. I don't know. It's just something about not just those first teams that are in first place all the time, but I don't know. It's just something about this Avalanche and Jets team that I feel. I mean, something about this Avalanche and Vegas team that I feel like is going to get them over Winnipeg for some reason. But yeah, and then on this side, we have the Lightning and the Capitals. Now, this is such a hard series. I think this is probably harder to predict than this because it's like I really want to put the Lightning here. Like, I really wanted to put the Lightning here so bad. Like, I don't know. Something just told me that, like, the Lightning deserve to be in, like a Stanley Cup Finals rematch, but this time the Lightning win. But then again, I said to myself, I'm a huge, like, I'm very big, like, growing up on Ovechkin. And I mean, like, they've already, like, they already accomplished so much with him being, becoming the all-time leading goal scorer. But it's just something about that group, man. They look so close. Like, it's just something about them. Like something about that group tells me that the Capitals are going to make it to the finals. But again, this can go either way. Like, it's so hard. But I'm gonna keep it with the Capitals and the Avalanche. But if Tampa Bay Lightning get here or the Panthers, I definitely won't be mad about that. But I do think that if there's a team that get by them, I think it's the Capitals. I think they have more. I think they have a deeper group than the Hurricanes do. So I think the Capitals will definitely, give them a good shot for their money, especially with the goaltending they have. I think they can get through it. So I think this is going to be the finale right here. Now, for who to win, that's I don't know. I don't know who would win. I'm probably gonna pick the Capitals, maybe just because. I'm probably gonna pick the Capitals, and I'll tell you guys why. Okay. A little bit of biasy here. I know I said in the beginning of the video that there's no biasy. Like I said, I'm a huge Ovechkin fan. I have a lot of his pieces. I want everything to go up, especially for him, like, breaking the record. So I want him to win, like, if this becomes a series. But the Avalanche would probably win this series, but just for, like, goaltending matchups and, like, for the season he's having, I'm going to go with Washington here. And also because I feel like it's a safer bet for I feel like it's a little bit more safer to pick Washington to win because of like the route they have. Whereas Avalanche, because if the Dallas beat them in the first round, I mean, then Avalanche are pretty much gone. So at least I could try to predict who wins. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I'm gonna pick them. But again, I would just be okay with this. I don't really care who wins, but like I said, that's just why I'm gonna go with them because I have to make a prediction. I have to make a prediction of who wins here. But that's the only reason why. Other than that, though, like it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. You know, I'm sorry it was a really long video. I was just trying to really get my thoughts out there and all the details and everything like that. So again, I apologize for the continuous like talk about it. But you know, what we love. It's what we love to do. We love to talk about sports and all that stuff. So, you know, I definitely think it's going to be a very fun and exciting Stanley Cup. I know people say it all the time. This year is going to be great. This year is going to be great. But I truly think that this year is going to be great. Like literally there's not a favorite team where like you're like, okay, they're going to win. Like, you know, the Panthers have a good shot. The Lightning have a good shot. You know, the Capitals have a good shot. The Avalanche have a good shot. The Stars have a good shot. You know, like the Vegas Golden Knights, the Jets, like there's so many teams that are built to get to the end. The problem is who's going to stay healthy, you know, who's going to ride through that momentum, like who's really going to dig deep when it matters the most. And that's always what it comes down to. But yeah, but again, man, I appreciate you guys all for watching, man. I hope my opinions don't, you know, upset a lot of people. I know it happens. Comment down below what you guys think. Again, I hope we have a great, you know, Stanley Cup playoffs. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. Get those brackets in as well. Good luck to everybody else playing in the, you know, the bracket challenge or whatever. Hopefully your teams are in. Hopefully they win. And yeah, it's the most exciting time of the year. So again, I appreciate you all for watching. I know this weekend's Easter, so happy Easter to those who celebrate. And again, like, comment, subscribe, comment down below. And we're going to probably do our NBA bracket challenge as well and other ones coming up. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And it's been your boy Game Time Chris, and I'm out. Peace.